Wait. Hi, am I live? I w- I'm just using all the sound effects that I have right now to see. Um, Let me check on Twitter and YouTube. Oh, let me check on my phone. So, guys, today I'll be talking about prediction market with my friends. One Canadian and one Korean, but he says he is Korean, but I don't think he is Korean. Because like all he consumes are all English written content. So I don't think he's Korean. If you are Korean, then you better be more familiar to Korean stuffs, but he's not. So okay, I'm live on base and let me check on. I'm checking through my phone right now. And if you are here, please like this post so that more people can find our stream. And you can also chat with me through YouTube. And my YouTube link is in my bio. Yes, now you're all set. Let me tell my team that I'm live, that I'll be absent for 2 minutes, and then we'll start. Okay, wait for a minute, please. Start trading, a terminator. Let me check on prediction market ecosystem or live streams, all channels. Oopsie. Okay. I think we're ready.
Oh, I didn't know I was live.
So these two folks are my friends. One, Chuhyuk, he is the content lead of Arch Network, and he is constantly losing his money on polymarket, but I heard he made a few good bets too. And Pluto, he is Canadian, who's really a good little bro of ours, super smart, AI crypto researcher, now fully diving into prediction market. So I think there's a lot they can share today's stream. So please welcome Chuhyuk and Pluto, and let's go from Chuhyuk. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm the Asia content lead at Arch Network, but right now I'm doing a lot of prediction market stuff. Actually, I have mostly lost money. So, unlike the stream title suggests, I cannot really advise you on to really make money. I think it's my duty to try to find how to make money, but this is basically me going through a struggle session with everyone here, and let's try to get this bread. I guess one day it will shine.
Thank you, Chuhyuk. Now please go ahead, Pluto.
Hey guys, nice to meet everyone. I'm Pluto. I'm dude, what am I now? Um, all right. Well, I mean, I research AI and crypto stuff. Previously built some pretty big DeFi protocols, and then also with Juhook, we're kind of basic, but we're looking into prediction markets. Thanks for having me.
Nice. Okay, let me share the screen. Actually, Chuhyuk will sharing the screen. So this is Base Apps UI. Now it's a little shilling time. Base integrated polymarket. You can enjoy your prediction market wheat base while earning from both polymarket, not earning, but you can potentially earn something from polymarket and definitely earn from based. And we will delve into some issues and funsy here. And yes, please lead us, Chuhyuk.
Yeah, so I was looking at this market because Polymarket just tweeted it on their X account, and it's basically, will Tim Waltz be charged by some sort of crime until 2026 March 31? And a lot of people would be wondering, who the fuck is Tim Waltz and why would it be charged? So I'm not sure if a lot of people are right now familiar with what's going on. I bet a lot of people who are watching the stream might not be from the states or whatever region that this news may have any impact on. But right now there are a bunch of folks, a lot of Somali refugees who moved to Minnesota since 1991 after the Civil War broke out there. So basically, a lot of people lost their homes, their jobs, like Somalian people. They were the U.S. basically took them in as humanitarian aid, and a lot of them just gathered in Minnesota for some reason because like the NGO that was helping out these Somalians were based in Minnesota. So Minnesota, out of fucking nowhere, in one of the most coldest places in the U.S., they have a huge Somalian community. And now, recently, it was found that I don't think it's like found, but like there's a lot of allegations, a lot of like finger pointing right now that like these NGOs, like whatever, like these humanitarian aid companies, whatever, they were I don't know if they're helping, but I think these Somalians kind of exploited the system to get these financial aids, and they were basically exploiting the system, and a lot of people are mad. So this market is now created because somehow Tim Waltz could be also involved in this whole scheme because after all he's the governor of Minnesota. So the question of this market is basically asking, was Tim Waltz ever involved in the whole Somalian drama going on right now? So Somalia, so what I want to share his here is this research article done by Zero Edge. This is a bot that my friend Pluto here is kind of contributing to. So I didn't have time to actually read this. And I'll just like try to go to the juicy part where it tries to show. So the trading playbook is give the markets specific characteristics, low liquidity, long duration, and broad rules. Different strategies are appropriate for different risk profiles. So, what this bot right now is suggesting is mostly based on the liquidity and the rules for the market outcome instead of the fact instead of like trying to speculate on Tim Waltz being somehow involved in the scheme or not. So I think it's saying that, oh, it's actually saying just put a bet on yes because it's a 22-1 payoff. It could be a lottery ticket. What the fuck? This is actually not very helpful.
Yeah. You should try it again. This is I look at the sources. It didn't pull the
Yeah, let me
pull
let
the
me
relevant. You should
yeah,
ask
but
it
like
again. AI is
I
a black box.
yeah, I actually Googled this shit earlier too. So let me show you the Gemini page I was just looking at the moment. And let's just read. So the term Somali refugee scandal likely refers to the Feeding Our Future fraud case, a massive scheme in Minnesota where over 250 million, potentially up to $1 billion in federal child nutrition funds were stolen. Tim Waltz was governor of Minnesota during the time the fraud occurred. His involvement is not criminal, rather, it centers on administrative oversight failures. political controversy regarding on how his administration handled the fraud and recent allegations from political opponents. Here's a breakdown of his role on the specific allegations. So after COVID-19, the Feeding Our Future nonprofit were claiming to feed thousands of children, but prosecutors found the meal counts were fabricated. The money was instead used to buy luxury cars, real estate, and jewelry. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, Somali connection. While ringleader Amy Bach was white, she has the same last name as me, Bach. A large number of the 70 plus defendants charged and convicted were from Minnesota's Somali American community. This is how led some political figures to refer to the context of Somali immigration through many defendants were naturalized U.S. citizens. Tim Walz's involvement, he might have missed the red flags, and under his authority, yeah, he might have just missed it. Reports indicate officials saw suspicious spikes in meal claims as early as 2020, but continued payments. This could be due to like COVID, and during COVID there were a lot of like new like sort of there must have been a lot of people trying to get meal claims under the same organization, and maybe that have not been properly filtered. So Waltz has argued that his administration caught the fraud and reported to the FBI. He already did. He frequently claimed that a state court judge ordered his department to resume payments to fraudsters after they sued the state. Okay, this makes the story very the current bet, um very very um I'm not sure. I think it could be overpriced. If you look at Google, it could be overpriced. It's actually priced at 4.5%. But you don't know. You never know. How he could be involved. Like what type of evidence could be discovered later. So yeah, like the liquidity is like only 900. It's like less than $1,000. So I have like $1,000 on base right now. So like I could buy this whole fucking market and just like you know I could like bet like $1, and I don't know. I don't think my return would be that great, but I think it's a fun market to actually see like where this whole thing would head to, because if Tim Waltz is actually um he gets like whatever like charged for this cause, and that's the kind of blow to the Democratic Party, but nobody likes Tim Walz anyway, so I'm not sure how much that would actually affect the Democratic Party's line of candidates, because like Tim Walz, everybody just makes fun of him all the time. And okay, so in a rare public rebuke, the judge in question, Judge John Guthman, issued a statement explicitly denying Walt's claim. Oh, he said he never ordered the payments to resume, and that Walt's Department of Education resumed them voluntarily. Okay, so I think we are in a somewhat gray area. We don't know, like it's like a he says she says story right now. So let's read a bit more. In December 2025, House Republicans launched a new investigation into Walz, escalating the accusations beyond simple negligence. House Oversight Chairman James Comer claims to have evidence, a tape. Okay, sounds like a Trump story now, of Walz pledging to help the fraudsters in a conversation that also discussed campaign donations. This is a specific political allegation currently under investigation and has not been independently verified by nonpartisan sources. Investigators are also probing whether some of the stolen frauds were sent to overseas to terrorist groups like Al Shabaab in Somalia. Walz is being scrutinized for whether his administration's lack of oversight inadvertently funded terror. So Al Shabaab, as long as I know, is like these are not very good guys. These are some bad guys. And Somalia, have you guys watched the Black Hawk Down, the movie? Pluto, have you watched it?
No, but it's a military movie.
Yeah, so Black Hawk Down is based on the story in during the civil war in Somalia, if I remember correctly. And what they do is they fly into this city called Mogadishu, which is, I think it's like the biggest city in Somalia. And basically they, do a lot of fighting. And yeah, Somalia is where all the pirates, the pirate videos on YouTube and X, where these like, oh yeah, so basically like these freight ships, these big carrier ships where they have a lot of these container boxes, like the huge
Oh
ships
yeah,
where
it's
they
the Somalian venture
where,
capital, right? Where like they invest in.
yeah, Somalian venture capital, bro. That's where all the sourcing comes from. The deal sourcing, it all comes from the Red Sea, the Red Sea and the canal that connects the Red Sea into the Mediterranean. So that's like Somalia is at like the entrance of the Red Sea. So it's a very ideal spot for these Somalians to, come in with their AK-47s and terrorize these people and basically blackmail people. And that's where the U.S. military was, and the people from Somalia, since they were suffering from the civil war in Somalia, the U.S. was like, okay, I think we should bring these people in. I think it's not cool for us to just like leave them in this hellhole, basically, and that's how they got a huge Somali community in Minnesota. And yeah, this whole thing, it's like the whole drama surrounding the Somali refugees in the US is like creating like big drama. I'm not sure if Pluto have seen this, but uh like the drama that I have just read you, a lot of these red, I mean not red, but like right-wing pundits, they're saying, oh, we don't like, look at our streets, like people in New York and LA, they're sleeping on the ground, they're just taking drugs, and like everyone's just poor, but Somalians, you know they're getting really comfortable with their stuff. And I think I got a new prompt from Pluto, and I think we should read. I'll read the key insights and strategic recommendations for the market. For the people tuning in right now, I'll just share again that based, you can see that Tim Waltz charged by March 31 market is live. It has been live just recently, and this is because somehow he could be involved in the whole like Somali drama. I'm not hoping that he was involved, but like there's a possibility. Thus, there's a market. And I was just asking Gemini about how he could be potentially involved and potentially charged. And it's basically a he says she says story, but this is another AI agent that is looking into the market. And I'll share this one. The key insights and strategic recommendation says the 5% implied probability is misaligned with near zero evidence of personal culpability. Okay. The political heat on Walz's administration is being conflated with his personal criminal risk. No direct evidence. Extensive reporting and fact checks confirm that while Walz's administration is faulted um, for inadequate oversight, no state or federal investigation has named him as a target or suspect. The market is pricing in speculation, not facts. Okay. With March 31, 2026 deadline, there's insufficient time to launch, conduct, and secure a grand jury indictment against the sitting governor for a complex case, barring the emergence of a prepackaged smoking gun. Trading strategy. The no contract is favorable position. Okay. The thin liquidity allows for price volatility, offering opportunities to accumulate. No. So basically, I think the AI agent from Zero Edge, shout out to Zero Edge. Do we have a logo here? Yeah, Zero Edge here. Zero Edge is saying that Tim Waltz, uh, he's not, I don't think he's a criminal. That's what Zero Edge is saying. And I think the current probability of 4.5%. Let me uh refresh this if it's actually 4.5. Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's 5 instead of 4. Anyways, oh yeah. Anyways, 4.5% might be a bit inflated because of speculation. So maybe it's a good time to buy no. Let me buy no live. Let me look at the order book. It's always important to check the order books on these things. So I'm gonna buy no. I'm gonna buy no at 96 cents. Okay, 96 cents. Let me buy like $10. If I win 42 cents. Okay, fuck that. Let me buy like $50. I might win like $2 if I actually win this. I'm approving this. Yes. So I place my bet. So after all this, I need to hear what y'all think. Do you guys have any opinions on this?
Yeah, so I think one thing which I think Domer mentioned as well is that the kind of like risk-free rates, or like the average rate of like all markets on polymarket, is kind of like 3%, like 2-3%. Um you have to consider that, there's like the time value of money, because these are essentially options, right? To get 4 or 5% on your investment. Well, I mean, 4% risk adjusted on your investment for this one. In like it resolves, right, March 31st, in like 3 months. Is I guess that's just the market saying like this is maybe not the highest return thing you can do. But other than that, um, yeah, I knew nothing about this specific market itself, but I do think that it mentioned some really interesting points, right? Like how fast can you, like, even if you start now, right? How fast can you charge someone? Especially Waltz is a senator, or yeah. So I think that that is a good point, right? Like it's probably going to resolve to no, and the evidence kind of suggests that there's not really that much to indicate yes at this time, right? But it's also, as mentioned with the smoking gun, right? Like some stuff could really accelerate that, as in like maybe the case was already being built, like half a year ago, right? Like when they charged the remember that Singaporean guy who stole a bunch of money from like a whale?
What the fuck is that?
Remember like the Coinbase whale got hacked, and then like the dude was like a Singaporean guy who basically spent like like he was basically like buying Birkins for all the girls in LA.
Oh, you mean like Malone? My
Yeah,
man
yeah, yeah,
Malone?
Malone Greavies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In that case, right, like Zach XBT was actually working with law enforcement for like a while before that, and then they only unveiled the case like later, right? And then bam, instantly they got like three of them. I think one of them today just got arrested in, I think, like Dubai or something like that. But yeah, so I think like it makes some good points. Some points to consider is it's probably unlikely that people were building a case against this. Like I think like who isn't committing fraud in the political scene these days, right? Um, okay, that's a little bit cynical, but I just mean as in like I've heard so many of these timelines of XYZ getting charged, but like nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. It's that meme, right? Polymarket has a market called nothing ever
Well,
happens.
well, well. Nothing
But yeah,
ever
anyways,
happened.
that's just my thoughts on this specific market.
Yeah.
Dude from the hood, you or me?
I guess it's
All
Pluto.
right, I got that hood energy, that dog in me. But yeah, back to you, Juho.
Dogging you. Thank you, Pluto. Thank you for teaching me that I need to I need to really care the time frame too when I'm trying to make free money out of Polymarket. Actually, I just suggested our team to add one more filter, which is expiring filter, so that you can easily track the market that will be closed really soon. Then I can really enjoy free 1 to 2% within like a week. I think I will go with that. Always market has been very favorite to whales, but if I am whale, it's such an easy game. Like if I'm especially if whale and if I enter this market early, people might think I'm an insider or something. I will always set up new wallet and fund it and just make a huge bet, and people will just follow me because they assume I am insider. I have that kind of feeling too. And I saw some like clips covering Minnesota issue, like Chuhyuk said, I don't know, like how I don't know. It's like a little bit off topic, so I'll just shut up now. So thanks for sharing, Chuhyuk. I learned new thing, and like as a Korean, those political on politics, political prediction markets on polymarket is not really relating to me. I can hardly relate to those topics. And I'm Korean living in Seoul. Then why should I care like Minnesota? But thankfully, due to that, I can, I have reason to delve into those topics, but still, it's so random for me. So my suggestion here is can we do something more fun? Maybe topic about Taylor Swift.
That's why I brought a fun market here. Let me share this. So,
Oh, Taylor Swift. Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna choose Taylor Swift pregnant in 2025.
bro.
It has 1.8 mil in volume. But yeah. And anyways, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
but yeah, so since we're almost at the end of the year, I thought this could be another I think this could be a pretty safe bet because like intuitively, this is like a yes cuz who doesn't hear this song at least 13 times a day, like before and after Christmas, like plus minus 5 days on the day of Christmas. You hear this song everywhere, all the time, constantly, and you just hate Mariah Carey. But somehow, when December hits again next year, you kind of want to hear it. I don't know, like it's an addicting song. It's like something that is baked into our DNA now that we need to listen to this song to feel year ends, holiday, festive, whatever vibes. And so I also did a little research on this on Zero Edge again, and I'll just share the key findings here. And historical precedent is overwhelmingly strong. Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" has an unbroken record of topping the Spotify Global Chart on December 25th for at least 7 consecutive years. Bro, on December 25th, 2024, the song secured number one spot with 19.8 million streams, comfortably ahead of its closest competitor. This consistent multi-year dominance established a powerful base rate that the current market price of 88 cents fails to fully reflect. So basically, just the first key finding, you can safely say that you could bet on Mariah Carey's song topping the charts on December 25th. So I think this could be one of those, like, I don't know, a little bit more high risk polymarket bonds. This is like the data is just too clear, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like to me, Christmas season without this song, it's not Christmas, man. We need this song. And it's like a love-hate relationship, right? But at the end of the day, a love-hate relationship is still a relationship, right? So I think it's a good thing to probably bet yes on this thing. Let me check the order books and see if I can bet. They got $328 worth of liquidity on 94 cents. The current possibility is 93. Okay. I'ma still buy. I think this is a pretty easy buy. Maybe bet like $210. Um it's only 16 days to um Christmas. So it resolves in pretty much 2 weeks and
2 weeks.
1 day. Oh, it says 15 days and 12 hours here. So
Oh, that's a nice feature.
yeah. Let me actually bet like fucking 400.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
then
those memes where it's like, it's about time to unleash Maria Carey again, like every December, where
yeah.
it's like Maria Carey in like a frozen block and all these memes, and then it's like Maria Carey is like being summoned for every
Yeah, right.
Christmas. Yeah, I think like the dude, I'd eat this. I mean, it's 2 weeks, right? I mean, like I don't know. I'm not certain of many things in the world, but this one I feel very certain about. As in, like, what would be the top song if Maria Carey "All I Want for Christmas" is not the top song? Like I can't even fathom like what's the second song in Christmas.
Nobody remembers the second song. It's only
I know
Noel.
no one knows the second. Like, can you name the second like closest song, right? Like for a year ago or like 2 years ago? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, Sue. Wait, Sue signaling
San-
or is she waving?
Maybe Santa Tell Me.
Oh, I totally forgot that was a song. Um. Oh, so wait, that's Santa Tell Me. Oh my God, what is the lyrics?
I have no clue.
What are the lyrics, Sue?
Like Santa Tell Me if you really there.
Is that Ariana Grande?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, look, there's like, I think we get it because we're younger, but like, you know what I mean? Like the older generation, right? 30, 40s. I don't think they know Ariana Grande. And also, Aria's been on some weird stuff. I feel like that
No.
overshadows her music
Yeah.
significantly. But
She
that is
looks
a
like
Christmassy song.
yeah. I do know that song, but recently I found out that was from Ariana Grande, and I think like tradition wise, it's a safe bet to bet on Mariah Carey, and like Shu said, it's nobody remembers anything else. Like I remember like some other like old ass songs like Jingle Bell Rock and like
Yeah, but
no
those aren't a
no
vibe, right? Those are just
yeah
like Christmas stuff.
yeah. So yeah, I just put a bet on base just now. I just like destroyed the 94 cent um here on the order books, and I hope someone buys more. So oh, someone in the chat is saying time for some Home Alone screenings. Is there a market where you can bet on that? Do we?
There isn't yet, but you can propose one. Oh, actually, maybe it's under like movie.
Oh, let
But
me let
isn't
me
Home
search for one. I think
Wait,
you
isn't
can take over while I'm searching for other Christmas vibey markets.
I don't know. You, Pluto?
hmm? Wait, what are we talking about? Christmassy markets?
Trio, what did you just ordered me to do?
Just take over and just talk about stuff.
Oh, okay. I do think though for so I remember there was like some discussion about Tulip King about like bonds, and like people were like, oh, okay, the math is actually the risk is actually much higher, right? But I think that like there are I think if you look at the historical data, especially for a lot of these markets with the historical information to support that, right? Like, I think like Spotify, I would guess, and this is probably right, but since Spotify launched, uh, the Maria Carey song has probably been top one since December. And then like even going beyond that, right? I think that's also yeah, I think that's also true. So I think like when you look at markets with a lot of historical data, um, right, the bonds for these you can actually adjust their sort of riskiness, right? Like as Juhook mentioned, it pays out very quickly. It's very good risk adjusted. It is very good risk adjusted. Like extremely good risk adjusted. Like I might go ape sum
But
for
the
this.
thing is that everyone got their own access to AI. So more historical data there are, more people can make same bets, less upside. So I don't know.
I think so. I think so. But also, I think we're still very early in the adoption phase of prediction markets. Like a lot of these markets that should be, like 99% or 98%. I mean, that should be 100%, right? They're actually trading at like 97, 96, purely because some people, like gamblers, want to gamble, right? They like the gamba. So they're like, all right, hey, but what if it pays out, right? It's like 10 to 1 odds, right? Um, so yeah, I think definitely with AI, people are becoming more informed. So the edge on a lot of these bonds are closing a little bit. But I also think that we're seeing a lot of uninformed or like retail traders come into this. which also skews the odds the other way, right? So we're still early, right? It's like when it's like when there was the kimchi premium, right? What was that, like 10%, like 20%, right? Like that shouldn't have happened. Like logically, that doesn't make sense, right? But the influx of um, the new Korean traders and also the Korean appetite for gambling on Bitcoin back then, like really sustained that premium.
Bro, kimchi premium is due to more structural issue in Korea. In Korea, MM is prohibited. It's illegal to do MM. So those like big funds, big money that is constantly arbitraging between DEXs and CXs, they didn't had a legitimate access to Korean market. That's why there was a discrepancy happening in Korean
Yeah.
market.
But I also mean that like you guys have the travel rule, and obviously it's hard to arbitrage that. I remember like Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX wanted to arbitrage that. Then I think he switched to Japan, where there was like a smaller
That's true. That's true.
premium, and he used like XRP to arbitrage it.
Hmm.
But that being said, right, you can arbitrage it. So I think like it buys its listings. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, my point is that yes, there's structural issues, but also right, like during the crypto adoption period, during that time, like there's obviously more retail buys, which kind of exacerbates, like creates a bigger pressure on that arbitrage, right? Like there is an arbitrage naturally because of the structural issues. Then if you just have like retail traders like absolutely bidding really hard on Bitcoin, um, that's why you saw such big like dislocations price across all the markets. But
I
yeah,
feel like
you're right, Sue.
yeah, I feel like with given that we have these type of tools and so many products are helping traders to arbitrage between polymarket, Kelsey, opinionless, whatever. So if you're diligent enough, there are many opportunities in prediction market. I'm not that diligent. I'm not that really good at keeping up the trends. So I'm missing all these opportunities. But given that there's AI ball like Gemini, ChatGPT, and like this purpose specific bots like Giraffe, and there are tools that are helping, like showing all the odds across different prediction markets. There are so many opportunities, but I don't know how to handle everything, to be honest. I should really keep up, but I'm busy working. I'm sure most people are like this. So if you are staring at Bitcoin chart all day, if you're that kind of person, then definitely you should give a shot to give it a chance to Poly Market and Kelsey, whatever too.
Oh yeah,
Yang
I do want
yang
to
fast.
mention that like because I do arbitrage these, um like the same market arbitrage where like it's the exact same thing, right? But just on another platform. Those are really hard to arbitrage, right? It's kind of like high frequency trading, right? Which is, like for high frequency trading, like for example, the ETF, right? An ETF is composed of multiple different stocks. These keep changing. So at any given point, if the ETF does not equal that, what it's made of, right? Um, you can just, you can arbitrage that. It's simply, right? But a really interesting thing I noticed on Polymarket during that time I was visiting Korea was the League of Legends championships, right? And there were two markets basically going on back then. There was the who will win the final championship, which was SKT. Oh, sorry, yeah, it was pricing in like SKT. Who was the other team? Genji. I'm sorry,
Oh,
I
it was
haven't
like
watched it in a while.
it was KT.
Oh, it was KT. Okay, both Korean teams, right? Um, But actually, before and during the semifinals, SKT was basically favored to dominate that Chinese team, right? Like the odds were like I think like 80 or 90 to 10. There was another market called will a Korean team win the 2025 League of Legends championships, right? So actually, there was a big dislocation in this price that you could have arbitraged because if the market's pricing in, you know, SKT beating the Chinese team 90-1, and on the other side, a Korean team already made it into the finals. That means the market of a Korean team winning the championship should be 90% to 10% as well, right? Because if SKT wins, like it's a Korean vs Korean final game, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Oh
But I'm
yeah,
not.
basically the logic of some of these things are like highly correlated, right? Like like basically it's like, will a Korean, for example, SKT beat the Chinese team, and we already know this, right? But the second market, which is, will a Korean team win the semifinal and win the finals of the League of Legends championship? Um, the odds of that is not 100%. Okay? Well, you can actually arbitrage those. Those are like things that the average person can arbitrage with a little bit of AI and domain knowledge. Because you know that, okay, SKT already beat the Chinese team, therefore the final team will be Korean versus Korean, right? Therefore, you should max ape everything you can get on like, will a Korean team win the finals? But anyways, so what I want to mention is obviously, what I wanted to mention is that the edge is the edge for the retail traders is kind of spotting these arbitrages, um, where like they're very related markets, but not worded exactly that. I think that's the biggest opportunity for retail traders. The gap for the same market, right? Obviously, that's going to close. Right? People are already competing at a very high level on arbitrage and Kalshi, opinion, right? Polymarket. But those, I see a lot of those related market arbitrages every day. So
Yeah, like it's you really need to read the rules. Like this is not on Polymarket or Kalshi. I was once on what's the one on Abstract? Myriad Markets. And then I saw this market, will Trump meet Xi Jinping in 2025? And it was like in November or October back then, and they were talking about like Xi Jinping, and like Trump was actually like tweeting or like posting on his Trust Social that he's gonna have a conversation with Xi Jinping and that kind of stuff. Like he will meet Chairman Xi, whatever. And then I saw the markets on Myriad Markets, and it was pricing in the probability of Trump meeting Xi Jinping to like, I don't know, like 3%, like 10%. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I could make, a 10x on this if whatever Trump says is true. And then I put a bet. And then I scroll down to finally read the rules after I place a bet. And then it turns out the market will only resolve if Trump goes to China and meets Xi Jinping. So I was like, the fuck? Like, how you guys like that's like totally it's like that's an important factor that was not shown on the title. So I immediately sold. I lost like, 1%, 2% due to slippage, but it was fine. But yeah, like you said, it's important to catch like these dislocations on like similar themes, but also when you try to arbitrage like between those themes, you need to read the rules because like the prediction market is priced in that way for a reason, most of the time. Yeah.
yeah, a big part of it is kind of like thinking about, okay, what does the market know and what does the market think it knows, but it actually doesn't. I was trading like the Honduran elections with like one of the bigger traders on Polymarket recently. It's really amazing how they think about these things, and like that domain knowledge translates into, like they were doing projections by country, by municipality, right? Um, and then like what was the word that starts with a D? But anyways, like I think this is something that AI eventually will replace, but I think that for now, traders can use AI to augment their thinking significantly, right? Like that's, if you didn't think about the rules, right? AI can very similarly surface that idea of, hey, I mean, like, um, you know, this market needs Trump to actually fly to China and meet Xi Jinping, right? And there's all, and you know what? When you think about that, and just me thinking about it, I would say, oh well, Trump, he has like a presidential calendar, right? Like he has a publicly announced schedule. So one, you can arbitrage that if it says like going to China, right? Um, you can arbitrage that as a retail trader. But another thing is that you can look at his calendar, right? And you can be like, hey, he's meeting like the Saudis until like December like 2026, and then it's like Christmas, right? What are the odds that he goes and spends, Christmas in China, right? Not very likely. So there's some stuff that like this that I think retail traders can start to try and think about and price in. But I think AI is like very good at kind of help surfacing these sort of insights.
Yeah.
But
So
but yeah,
regarding
he has a calendar, so you would take that into account when you think about this, right?
Yeah. And regarding to the rule thing that I was talking a bit more earlier, there's this market, polymarket, um on Trump's Epstein files release. And if you look at the rules, it says the Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the Department of Justice to release all unclassified Epstein related documents within 30 days of its enactment, setting the legal deadline for publication at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on December 9th. December 19th, 2025. This market resolved to yes if the Trump administration publicly releases any files pertaining to the legal activities of Jeffrey Epstein, which weren't previously public by the listed date. Otherwise, this market will resolve to no. So these are the basic factors, but you got to read more closely in the bottom. A qualifying file must contain substantive information pertaining to the legal activities of Jeffrey Epstein. The following will qualify: previously released documents in which redactions containing new substantive content, such as names or associates or practices directly pertaining to illegal activities of Jeffrey Epstein, were removed, and documents that weren't previously public contain information pertaining to the illegal activities of Jeffrey Epstein, even if that information was already known from previous releases. So it's basically saying that, okay, the Trump administration needs to release the files without redactions that don't hide a bunch of names. So the comments in this market is actually very fun because there are a lot of people betting on no, because for example, yeah, this one. So this guy is saying this bet is literally, will the potential child sexual abuser confirm that he is a rapist? So basically it's Trump outing himself. Why would he try to let like the Department to release the files without like going through him or without redaction? Trump is not that type of person. Like if you read through like whatever Trump did in like the comments from Jeffrey Epstein from the most recent releases, Jeffrey Epstein says Trump is a fucking crazy guy. He's like a power hungry crazy guy. He's smart. He's a very like, he depicts him as a very crazy,
I mean,
like
his
weird guy.
his
Yeah.
his literal motto. Have you watched the Apprentice, like his movie?
Nah.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. But like his literal life motto is let me see it. It's like attack, attack, attack. It's like never admit to anything. Like deny everything. And the third one is like say you won even if you didn't. So
Bro.
like if you think about this in the context of that, then it's like, oh, okay, like, and evidence suggests that Trump does follow that, right? He always attacks, he denies everything, and he always exclaims that he won a terrific victory, even when he like lost a court case, went bankrupt. Even when he went bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
He spun that into, I pay no taxes, right? It's like a tax play.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think that summarized it very succinctly, and I
Yeah.
think that
So
there are people taking the opposite of that, right? So
Yeah, I mean, people. I think the odds on this recently went up significantly. Let me see on this page. So the odds on the Trump release has went up quite a lot. And December 19th is coming up soon. It's only 10 days away. I think that's why the odds went up. I don't think this is because the fundamentals have changed, but because, it's a lot of speculation that, oh, December 19th is coming. What if he really does release the files? So I think this is like a big uh what should I say? Like market where you can bet if the legality and like the legal system will actually work, or is Trump going to say fuck you, I don't care, and just like just ignore the whole legal process of the US. I think this market kind of signifies um that. It could also mean that, is this the death of law in the US? Like, I don't know. Does the US president has too much power? Has Trump went too far? Yeah, it's a very interesting market. I actually bet on this. I actually bet on no on December 31. I don't think Trump will ever try to release any substantive that would make him, that would like uh you know create grounds for him to get uh uh charged or indicted in yeah, in any probable way. Yeah. Mr. Ali in the chat says he's probably going to ignore the legal process. Yeah, that's what I think will happen. Like, this is the guy who
Mm.
did a whole ass like rally in front of Congress when he thought his election was stolen. And he says he didn't incite any violence. He didn't tell anyone to like storm into the Senate. Like, he never said that. I don't know. But he's the type of guy who would, do these like sneaky things and then say, "Oops, I didn't do it," and he would get, he wouldn't get any backlash for it. I mean, he does get backlash, but not like
Well, I mean, he has that
punishment
quote that he could shoot someone in the middle of
in New
Fifth
York, and
Avenue,
nobody would
right?
care. Yeah,
And
and
no
he
one
would
would do
still
anything.
get elected.
Away with it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but also one thing I do have to mention, and this is a win for AI, is that I think that bag bias is naturally part of the training process. A lot of the times it's like, I think, and I have this issue as well when I trade, which is why I increasingly have AI workflows, my own system for this. Uh, but essentially, like, we people often kind of like, and the reason why these get skewed is kind of like people people kind of like make the trade in their minds, then confirm it, instead of like finding things to substantiate it. So that's also why I think like these markets themselves, with the increase of retail traders, and also there's not that much liquidity, right? Like the books of a lot of these are, it's still very early, right? Like a single buy can like shift stuff up significantly.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
my point is just that I think it's important to remain objective and look at the facts. But in this case, yeah, I think like if you do think about it, like first principle standpoint of like what he has done will probably be a good indication of what he continues to do, as well as his style, very past sort of things. Yeah, I would say this market is a little bit mispriced, maybe significantly. I'd have to look into it
in
a
which
little bit
way?
more.
What would you bet?
I um I remember taking a look at this, but I haven't considered the recent facts. So I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I stand with you, as in like I don't think it'll be substantial evidence. I think enough evidence will be uh, evidence will be released, but I don't think There's also the question of like, what counts as substantial, and I lean towards probably substantial evidence is not dropping, and
Yeah.
it's almost Christmas, right? Like if you want to think about this, you can also consider like when do national service people get their holidays, right? And then you can consider that, oh, okay, December probably has like, a bunch of holiday days as well. So there's not that many days for people to really deliberate, come to a conclusion, and then, unseal the documents or unseal substantial evidence. So that's how I
Yeah.
would think about it.
Yeah. And like recently I think Trump would be very sensitive about his standing in the Republican Party, because like the recent Epstein release, like the most recent one, it made like Marjorie Taylor Greene, the crazy conspiracy lady, to she basically denounced the MAGA movement and she resigned. So that is actually pretty damaging to Trump. And actually the right wing coalition is kind of falling apart, and Trump knows this because Charlie Kirk died. Candace Owens and Tim Pool, they're fighting each other online. Like they're like these they're like a lot of problems. It shows on the pollings, on the prediction markets, that the balance of power is shifting towards the Democrats. His approval is failing, so he needs to make this release he needs to minimize the damage of this release. So I think new facts will come out, but I don't think they will be substantive. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are we still okay for time, Sue? Okay. This is a trade that we were discussing a while ago, and it was one where I think AI was better than the average person would be, or even like us who kind of are more informed. That sounds so pretentious, but remember the Nvidia mention market, where it's like, okay, will Nvidia mention the word Taiwan in their upcoming earnings call, right? And I think it was like 70% that Nvidia was going to mention Taiwan, or like 80, like something ridiculous. Like the market thinks that Nvidia will mention Taiwan because they do a lot of chip design, and the chips get manufactured in Taiwan, right? But using AI to run a query on this, AI actually said no. Historically, Nvidia does not mention Taiwan, right? The last mention was like 4 quarters ago, where the explicit word was one of the directors, not Jensen himself, but one of the directors saying, "Oh, and Jensen will be at the Computer X conference in Taiwan." Right? It was not a meaningful mention of it in regards to their business practices or anything else. And if you think about this, actually, it makes sense, right? I mean, firstly, it's mispriced, right? But it also makes sense that the word Taiwan doesn't show up much in NVIDIA, even though Jensen Huang, is of Taiwanese descent. And the reason for this is because, there's like a very sensitive line with like NVIDIA chips. Can they sell to China or can they not, right? And this is like a kind of like a geopolitical issue, right? Like he's trying to say, like I was listening to a interview with Dario Amodei, right, the Anthropic guy, who was saying that he mentioned that the U.S. should ban chips being sold to China, and Jensen Huang was unhappy with that, right? And Jensen Huang talks about how we should sell chips to everybody, right? Everything should be built on American infrastructure. So to because this is getting a little bit long, but it makes sense that he avoids the word Taiwan, because the word Taiwan in itself is very controversial to the Chinese, right? And he's trying to close a deal on this side, right? So it actually does seem, especially if you go through some of these reports, it seems like he explicitly has a directive for the team to mention Taiwan as little as possible. Like it seems like they try to avoid the word Taiwan, even when they mention the word, Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturing company. They say TSMC, so they actively avoid Taiwan. And if you think about this, it actually makes sense because it's like a strategic direction to basically not piss off China and try to sell chips to everyone. So I think this is one of those things where it's like, oh, the market and your average person would think, hey, I have an edge on this, but actually, you gotta go to brass tack, right? You gotta, think you gotta think about this in a very analytical aspect. Yeah, yeah. So that was just an interesting market, which we were discussing like a month ago. That was completely
Yeah.
opposite to what, yeah, to what we thought as well on first glance.
I think like applying common sense is pretty neglected when it comes to prediction markets because like when you look at the markets, it's like, oh, this is priced in for a reason. Like the example you said, Taiwan, Jensen Huang mentioning Taiwan. I mean, he's from Taiwan, so maybe he does mention Taiwan, and they source their chips from Taiwan, so maybe they would like it in a very like that also sounds logical, but in a more business specific mindset if you think about it. But it would be very harmful for the business to actually mention Taiwan. So like the market price, when you first see the market price of these markets, it kind of impacts how you think. So I think eliminating the biases inside your head is like one of the biggest like you know obstacles that you should uh try to you know uh conquer before you actually try to do anything, like because like to be honest I lost a lot of money because like I thought the market would always be right in some way, and turns out like when I tried to get into these so-called polymarket bonds, turns out everyone's fucking wrong. Like they don't know what they're doing. And secondly, when I try to like, win big, I'm wrong. Like what the like it's like very, very hard. Like
We're just
polymarket,
airdrop
like predict
farming. We're just airdrop farming.
yeah.
It's like hyper liquid.
Yeah,
We're
that's
getting
what I feel like.
liquidated on purpose. It's the plan.
Word. Yeah.
When we
I
win,
was
it's we're
liquidated on
when it wins. And this is kind of a very interesting encapsulation of the trader mentality. But when it wins, I am a giga genius that can see into the future. And then when it loses, the market is wrong, and I'm just airdrop farming. Right? that's the cope, essentially.
yeah. So in the chat, Mr. Snow Z Pokey was mentioning a lot of things about like China and BRICS and liquidity provisioning. Um, well, I have my opinion on liquidity provisioning on Polymarket. I'll have to say that it's very difficult, and it's I think there could be like some ways to optimize it, but I don't think that is my expertise. But I've seen people making good money with providing liquidity on Polymarket. But I think you need to be sitting in front of your screen like 24/7, or you create a very sophisticated bot that could do this. And as long as I know, like market makers, they can't really get into like these prediction market order books because it always resolves, and it when the outcome is 0 or 100 for either side, um that's how market makers do not make money. Like they will lose a lot of money, so that's why the liquidity is always so thin. So like I don't know the solution, I don't know like how to do this well, but I know it's a big problem. I know some people are trying to crack the code of this. I think Pluto might have some ideas on the liquidity problem on prediction markets. Can you share anything if you have some ideas?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I do kind of it. Well, I do some like kind of more deep tech stuff, but I've looked into a lot of like the market making of binary options. A really big problem is basically inventory risk. Right? Where basically like if you are wrong, like someone will like take your entire book, right, all of your bids, and then your entire sort of inventory just goes worthless, right? Because it's wrong, right? It resolves to 0 or 1, right? Like risk management is really tough in that regard. Just because and the insider risk is so high for some markets where it's like you have a position and it's directional because ultimately it resolves to, even if it's delta neutral, it becomes directional as soon as someone like kind of like starts hitting your bid or your asks, and then now you're stuck with one side of it. Okay? And if you're wrong, that all of that goes to zero. So it's tricky, but it's doable. I think you have to consider kind of like, hey, is this something that an insider can really exert, outsized influence on, right? For example, will someone throw a dildo at the NBA game, right? This is something that if you have to think about it from like a modeling standpoint, you have to consider that the risk goes higher the more liquidity there is, right? Because if I'm that guy with a dildo at the NBA game, right, I'm going to buy all of the bids, right? That's it. I'm going to buy all of the orders that say no, and then I'm just going to throw it, right? And therefore, I make that trade. I make that trade into reality, right? So actually, like, there's I think AI will be increasingly important for market making these, just because relative to the traditional style of market making, which is based on like, okay, what's the liquidity in the book, right? Where you basically market make based on like how much inventory you have on hand, and you're trying to basically control that you have the least inventory on hand while making the spread. Right? And that's with tokens, right? Tokens have no inherent value. Tokens shouldn't go to zero overnight, right? Cough. They shouldn't.
I
Um,
mean, our convo, like everything we discussed, reminds me of that internet theory. Like there is no real human left in internet. Like most of them are bought. Even in trading too. Yeah, there were many bots and there are many bots on Predixis and CXs, but even on prediction market, so AI has more edge because you're neutral and they don't have back bias. But are you sure? I heard AI also has their own bias. Not sure about that. So they don't have they're but still like
oh yeah.
way more neutral than us, less biased. And second, only AI can actually arbitrage all the potential earning points. Like then who are left? What's humans' role here?
Well, I think that so humans are there to trade perps. Because perps have no, true value, right? But anyways, yeah, I do think, um, well, I wouldn't say AI replaces, because AI is obviously anchored to past events, right? And there is a bias on the past because that's their training data. Um, but I do think AI will increasingly play a role in the research and trading process of trading these markets and arbitraging, right? Like, eventually, I think AI can replace a lot of these sort of related markets, but AI doesn't just develop because, like, how would I say this? When you get a new model, it does improve at reasoning, which is generalizable, but they train it mostly on sort of expert data like math and that sort of thing, right? That does not that does not encode probability forecasting, or like of like a dildo being thrown on the NBA game, right? That's something kind of like humans have to kind of encode into their own versions of their agents, etc. Or humans use AI to come to that sort of conclusion, right? Just because, in short, in AI, a lot of things learned can be generalizable, but these things are, and that's why I think they're so exciting from an AI standpoint. These things are yet to be resolved. I think, will some of these markets start to be solved in the future? Yes, but there always is risk, right? Like, with AI systems. But yeah, there is a little bit of dead internet theory stuff, but I think it's basically like it's an adversarial game. Like, people will just use AI more and more to kind of like see, hey, actually, well, I mean, Juho's like, hey, actually, Pluto's a retard, and he's using AI, but he's actually not thinking about this the right way. Pluto does not know shit about political markets, right? Which is true, right? So Ju Hyuk using an AI, and if I'm his counterparty for trading these political markets, and we are the only two people in the market, like Ju Hyuk will roll me, right? Because I don't have that. Even if I have that, it doesn't. It won't. It doesn't help me, right? It's kind of like some people don't know gold even if it's in front of them. Right? So yeah, that was my long spiel about
Yeah.
that. We just become cyborgs. Honestly, we just become augmented people.
Or
And
we become insiders.
you know what? Honestly, at this point, I thought about it, and obviously, right, I've built some pretty big stuff. I think nothing ever beats an insider.
Yeah, because recently the biggest wins on Polymarket or Kalshi, they were all inside. Bro, Gemini, the new release of Gemini, Google, the most searched person in 2025, OpenAI, all these people in big tech companies, they are making like what 5 or 10x their yearly salary in one bet. Bro, I've been talking to this. I mean, I've been talking to Schubert about this, and we were saying, oh, the only way to make money on prediction markets is to first get a job at either Amazon, Apple, Google, OpenAI, maybe X, and other companies that are based in San Francisco that are listed on NASDAQ and have a huge market cap. Basically, you want to be an insider in these companies. Then you are ready to win prediction markets. Like it's that's why I think like instead of trying to arbitrage markets, it's almost easier to right now at this stage, it's easier to try to find insiders and just follow them. I think that's the easier trade at the moment. This market will saturate very quickly. I think it's almost saturated. I think I think like a shit ton of people are already doing it. But yeah, I think there's still room that could be you know that could be exploited in my opinion, because like I don't think like these markets that they're kind of niche if you think about it. Like the most searched person on Google market, it still has some significant volume, but it's not something that I would say like 90% of the people on earth would care, or even people on CT would care. So, yeah, get a job at a big tech company and start betting on Polymarket. That's how you win.
okay, I do have to mention that insider trading is a crime, and we are just bantering. Just have to disclose that, right? Okay. In terms, okay, I saw there's a question from Snozy, which is okay, deposit into polymarket positions and then allocate them in strategies to earn yield. I think someone's doing that already. It's called. Someone sent it to me earlier. Was it Yusu that sent it to me? Like, there's this like yield generation protocol for like polymarket. Dude, did you send me something like that?
I don't know, but I
Oh,
think
okay. Well, there is a protocol that kind of does that, but not to say right someone can't do it better. Um, yeah, that's my answer to the person in the chat. In terms of okay, where were we? We went off on a tangent a little bit.
how to
In terms of insider following. Yes, I do think that you can try and follow insiders, but I think it's like copy trading. Like a lot of these things, I would say is it's like the Thanksgiving turkey thing, which is that like it looks like free money until it isn't, and this is yeah, and this is because you can kind of with enough money you can kind of feint the market, right? You can fake the market or bluff the market into thinking you're an insider, right? If I have 200K, now I can suddenly start aping like a specific F scene market, right? And their liquidity is so low right now, right? That I can change it a lot, and then let's say copy traders or people following my wallet follow that, and then I dump on them, right? So the game evolves. I think this is what I love about financial markets is that the game keeps evolving. Now we'll have like layers to this, right? Are they faking they're an insider or are they an actual insider, right? And actual insiders might try to hide it a little bit more, right? Like they might buy a little, sell a little, buy a little, sell a little, and then they might, like basically next time, right, with a super positive wallet, maybe they will take the opposite and make that wallet lose money, right? So they can reuse it for another sort of run and like take the opposite of that position, a much larger position on a like a sub account. It's kind of like the what was it? It's kind of like how copy trading in the trenches worked, right? Yeah, but also with tokens as well, right? Sometimes you'll see this. Sometimes you'll see tokens absolutely skyrocket in like a day, and often they're front runs. They're front run announcement by insiders, right? But sometimes they're not, right? Sometimes they're just there to bait you into dumping on you. Right? It's kind of like the post TGE scam chart, right? Where it pumps, and that we saw like a couple of quarters ago, which is like it pumps. No, sorry, it dumps at TGE, then it pumps a little bit or a lot, and then it dumps into oblivion, right? That is kind of the equivalent of people following the insiders, right? They're like, oh, okay, they're going to pump the coin, right? And then it's like, nope, it's actually there to just increase attention, more liquidity in the order books, and then bam, you're gone. So
Yeah. Also, Based had this update on their website, on their web app. You can now follow the top traders on Polymarket. Let me just click on today's number one trader. His name is Weijian. Weijian in what the fuck? I don't know. But this
Wasian
guy,
Iverson, Wasian Iverson world champ,
oh, Weijian Iverson.
white
Okay.
Asian Iverson. That's
Okay.
the Post Malone song.
Yeah. What Iverson? But
Yeah.
what the like this guy? What is going on with this guy? He is this right? Actually, like, let me just uh
No, it's because it's redeeming. That it shows that he just took the loss. Redemptions
yeah.
show us a loss. I think I remember this when I was building something. Did it?
Yeah, so basically on here it basically says he made 1.32 million today. Um Market. I need to know.
You have to go to closed. Then you have to go to closed.
Yeah. Oh, here. So LAR versus the Panthers. He bet 316K. Who fucking does that? Bro, like on a sports market. These sports markets are actually ridiculous, man. I just I mean like they're the most like frequent and the most entertaining and also somewhat predictable. So I guess like a lot of people do a lot of sports betting. But betting on an Eagles versus Chargers game to win $2.41 million is crazy. Maybe I should follow. This guy's like an NFL expert. What the fuck, dude? Are you looking at this stuff? He bet 7028K and won
I think that's
almost $2 million.
That's Schubit's sub account. I always thought
Yeah,
Shu had mysterious sources of income, even in the bear market.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should all follow this guy. I think I'll just try to follow like copy trade this guy basically on his NFL trades. Like this guy's insane. Like it's all what? Yeah, but a lot of losses too here. So maybe he's
I think
not.
this guy's a
I think he's
degen.
not good at CS.
I think this guy's just a
Yeah,
degen, dude.
yeah, but like if you look at the NFL markets and Counter Strike markets that he's betting on, um, just by looking very, you know, just by taking a very quick look, he's better at betting at NFL. And whatever he trades on Counter Strike, you should counter trade him. So yeah, this is what you can do, and like let's go to all time Freddy 9999. I think I've seen this guy before. He must be very famous. Um, isn't this one of the like? Nah, I don't think that's. But like, yeah, you could see like this
Oh,
guy
that's the French
made
whale, I
22
think.
million.
No, oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's the French whale.
yeah, yeah. Freddy guy, this guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he like did some sort of like actual survey. Like he actually like did like this like door to door survey or something. I think I read something like he didn't trust the polls. Actually, he thought they were wrong,
Oh yeah,
and like yeah,
it's the neighbor sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The
That's what
neighbor
I read.
bias, yes. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but also this is actually no, I probably shouldn't say too much, but it's that I think you can be right and you can come to the you can take the you can have the absolute wrong sort of reasoning, but you can come to the right answer. You know what I mean on binary
yeah,
options. So it's really easy to delude yourself into thinking like I'm a genius, right? Um, I think that's something I found is interesting. Kind of like when you have a math test and then you you don't know how to you forgot the equation or something, and then you kind of like derive your own, and then like it gets the right answer, but it's like totally wrong, right? Like like you know what I mean?
yeah. I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
You come to the right conclusion anyways, but
exactly,
the
exactly.
process was just like all
Yeah,
wrong.
completely wrong, right? Yeah. So it's interesting. I think I am working on some research around this, but yeah, I won't mention that too much on the stream. It's not that relevant to this.
Cool. Okay. So I think it's like been quite a while since we started streaming. So I think we should start to try to end the stream. I think Shubin wants.
Can you guys stay here for 8 more minutes? Because there's something coming to Based. Something huge.
8
Have you guys
minutes.
heard of Hyena?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So do you know why Hyena stands out?
All right, let's look for a polymarket on this real quick. There is not. Unlucky. I'm just kidding. But that is yeah. I'm just saying that is information edge, people would get if they were listening to this stream right now. If there was a market. You guys should have made a market for that, by the way.
Yeah,
would
I
have been
mean,
great marketing.
so we actually made a market with Polymarket for our baseball NFT agent trading competition. So Polymarket is really flexible in terms of creating markets. Like if you request and if you have a good relationship with them, they are happy to create the market for us. So we did made a good tractions there. And Hyena, yeah, maybe we should have done that. So one person was talking about stable market cap bet. Why don't we cover that one before we jump into Hyena stuff?
Didn't Stable go to Goblin Town already? Oh yeah, it did. Okay. Do you wanna pull it up?
Just give
Edge
me a
me
second.
proper good sir. Interesting. I'm reading comments. You know what? I think that oh yeah. Anyways, please your thoughts, Mr. Hawk.
I don't have strong opinions on Stable. I just know that they're some sort of USDT like Tether backed company. They're a new stable chain. They are like the second Plasma, the first Arc, the third iteration of whatever Stripe wants to create. Like I don't like a new narrative strong as stable coins. It must have a lot of new launches. Like look at what happened with BTC-Fi. Like Arch Network, we build on Bitcoin. And I have been a big, like voice in Korea for the whole Bitcoin eco. And even the Bitcoin narrative, like BTC Fi narrative, it had a lot of projects to come out. Like, I don't know, but
Like
like it must have been like,
was that one the one with the cat?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I meant the one ah shoot, I forgot that one.
What do you mean,
Okay.
Opcat or
Anyways,
like
no,
Quantum
no.
Cats?
It was an inside joke, but I forgot the name of it. So yeah, Sue knows. Sue knows.
Oh, yeah, I also know that. But
Yeah.
anyways, there are a lot of BTC Fi projects that came out, and um, um, uh, yeah, most of them went to fucking zero, and yeah, this is destiny. Like stable coins, bro. It's like it's like one of the things that the US government is trying to lead. And it's one of the things that a lot of these tech giants are acknowledging that could make a big difference in our day-to-day lives. So, like not having some sort of new infra play on this would be actually more weird for me. So, like, yeah, I mean, I don't hate stable. Like, I don't, to be honest, like, I don't actually care. Like, I think this is a problem though. Like, there must be a lot of people like me who are like, okay, new stable chain. Like, what am I supposed to do on that? I think that's
I
the
think
end of the thought process. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
if you just look at the bets, I guess there there was like some moderate expectations that it would go to like 4 billion. And yeah, I think nobody's actually hoping or betting stable would actually stay over 2 billion. And yeah, it's a state of things. Like market is also not good. Mm, like this is like the what? Like this second big stable coin launch. I mean stable chain launch. And I think you know that meme where the graph goes like really big upside and then it just goes down and then it goes in circles in more smaller circles. I think that's what's happening here right now.
All right, we have 2 minutes to kill. My take is that I think people just don't care anymore. Like it's kind of like there's widespread apathy about tokens, as in like, hey, when we were in like 2020, right, 2020, even 2021, right, 20 no, sorry, even 2022, right, the idea of tokens was novel, exciting, right? Oh, it has a token. Now it's like, oh god, this has a token, right? So, we're in we're in new paradigm, as people would call it. Yeah, the token premium has arguably even gone negative. Yeah, as in it's bad to have token. Like tokens are not this cool new internet money thing. Now they're like this oversaturated scammy thing. But the market always adjusts, right? I remember, there were three people, right? 2022 who thought it was all over, right? On a stream, right? In the bear market. And then the bull market, right? The ordinals came. So yeah, I think things look different. I like prediction markets; they're interesting from a research standpoint, as well as just like trading these things. Um, and yeah. That my thoughts is just people just don't care about
Yeah,
anything anymore. So
I think the value accrual model to tokens are broken. I think that's why, nobody needs to buy these tokens. Like as you said in 2022, creating a token was somewhat exciting because it wasn't very easy to create a token for most people first, but then, you know, Pump.fun came along, meme coins came along. Now every celebrity and their cousin has a coin, and everyone just knows
yeah,
that.
Juhyuk nearly had a coin.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Um, yeah. Yeah, they wanted to attach coins to everything, which had no value accrual mechanism, and now they're coming up with buybacks. But buybacks also have their own downside, and I don't think that's it shouldn't be like, businesses should always prioritize to
Mhm.
create more value to the business before the shareholders, in my opinion. But if you try to give value to the shareholders, you inherently come up with these like ideas of buybacks. But I think regulations and just new type of thinking where these entities don't need to create their corporation outside of the US, and where they can actually go through
Oh,
um
there was an announcement for Hyena. So would you like to tell us a little bit about it? I just got a notification from Yam.
Guys, Hyena is finally launched. So, Athena and we worked together to work on this. We are using HIP3 tech. So, all the settlements will be done by Hyperliquid Tech, while order book will be managed by us. Instantly now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana pairs are available. Hype, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana pairs are available. Although you don't have USDE, no worries. You can use your USDC to trade here. We are giving some cushion time so that you guys can migrate your funds to this Hyena. There are additional there are additional stuff that you can get from trading on Hyena. So Athena is giving out their own points. This is aside from base gold. You can just think of base gold as our own
Base
points.
gold.
Yeah. don't
Okay,
don't
interesting.
don't ever even mention that one, okay? That's our
Mm.
Voldemort. Okay? Do not talk about that gold. It's base gold. So by trading on Hyena, if you're using USDE for a pair, then you're earning Hyena points, which later be converted to Athena points for their season 3 or 4, I think 5. Total 1% of their allocation. So, like 1% of their whole airdrop allocation will be given out to Hyena users. So it's a huge incentive for Hyena traders. And if you're trading Hyena through our app, which is we're available on web and mobile, then you're earning base gold too. So literally you can, and on top of that, this part is crazy. So USDE, why is it so good? Because it's generating yield. So when you put a long position, then if market is chopping or doing not that good, then you will lose money from paying funding fee. But you can somehow abilitate it by getting yield from your USDE. So while you're paying the funding fee, your your fund, which is like open position, is generating yield. So you're winning while you're earning from Hyena and based. So yeah, good deal, right? So this is most like basically about Hyena. It's really simple. We're using HIP tech to accrue more liquidity into Hyperliquid because just from introducing USDE to CXs, they earn a lot of TVL from that because people want yield. People want ideal, don't want ideal asset, but want their asset to make more money. So, Athena was suggesting this to Hyperliquid and they chose us to operate this, which is crazy, right? And they're using based cloud system. And what is based cloud? You can think of it as a cloud where you can make your own dexes, but using base tech. So we created this cloud that anyone can use. And through this cloud, you can have your own perp dex. So if I use base cloud, then I can have like Qubit exchange. So this is really good. And Hyena is our first flagship user client of our based cloud tech. So people are saying to hype token to survive, Hyperliquid should really be the house of all finance. And I think Base is actually contributing to that because our user base was not really coming from Hyperliquid Hyperliquid community itself, but we brought people outside of Hyperliquid. That's actually some winning points, and I want to give credit to our team for that, because what Hyperliquid, like how people outside of Hyperliquid think, like that we are kind of fanatic. Okay, you guys love Jeff, so whatever. Like, okay, you guys made a lot of money from hype. Oh, good for you. So what? You don't you like I'm so bearish on hyper EV and whatever. They are very salty about this. So it's really hard to, actually persuade people to be onboarded into hyper EVM eco. I think Base did that. It's really hard. It's really hard to persuade, like, everybody want to buy hype, but they don't want to actually dive into hyper EVM eco, but Base did a great job on that. We are the number one generating revenue generating app on Hyperliquid, and we are the number one builder on Polymarket too. And we are also, keep evangelizing prediction market in a safer way, because we not only cover the good side but the bad side of prediction market today, even in the streaming. And now, like, we are partnering with Ethena and introducing USDE margin perp decks, so that people like those like bigger money, like they can try Hyperliquid because there is yield generating opportunity here. So yes, so this is Hyper Hyena. Do you guys have any question about Hyena?
Yeah, I have a question. Will base gold be redeemable for a base Cybertruck and base hoodie?
Can you shut up?
Will we have a unskippable 5-minute video of Shubits delivering the rewards? I think these questions
Bro,
really matter for me because I have a little bit of trauma from the combination of, I have seen these games before. You know, they're so yeah, that's my question. Yeah, thank you
not
for answering.
sure yet.
Hope you will
Not
answer
sure
it.
yet. Maybe you need to create a prediction market for that. I think so. Of course, gold will be converted to based token. And yes, our whole team is like our team's mindset is actually really golden, because all we care is like how do we make our users rich, because this team really knows that making user rich is the way to success. So hard to say as a company which is to make more money or to make profit. Like, hard to say that we're like selfless, we're just doing it for everyone, but this team really knows that we really need to make our users rich and make them happy to actually thrive as a product and make money and make profit. It's a really, great circular loop, like really actually positive. So I can really see that from our team members. So yes, I don't think there will be a Cybertruck, but not sure. Maybe we can. I don't know. And hoodie, I don't think we will make it to redeem, but just airdrop the hoodie for our royal users, because we can do that, unlike that guy.
You know what? A very good-looking man once told me he would airdrop me a hoodie.
Did he? Are you invited to Pac-Man's private dinner? No, it was lunch.
He has. Wait, when was this?
Like last year token. So
Oh
guys, like
no.
about this, like this is an insider joke. So this guy and I, we were the victim of Blast ecosystem. We like three of us like got brutally robbed by Pac-Man, and they also ran the market. They also ran the incentive system, which is called like Blast Gold. So he's saying base gold is wow. It starts with B too. Blast gold and
Yeah.
base
Hey, I
gold.
think I'm just saying, Sue. I've played these games before.
Can
But
you
yes, cautiously
can you
cautiously
shut up?
optimistic for the base gold. This time will be different.
But at least there's Athena point, so
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm very positive about base. Not positive about the naming. Um, but that's a me problem. But yeah, this is cool. Exchanges as a service.
okay. To give you more details, like rewards, 12% boosted APY on eligible USDE margin. 12%, guys. This is like huge APR in this economy. So I think we can accrue good amount of TVL here. Yes, and to qualify this, users must hold long position before open for more than 1 hour. That's a qualified. We don't, give yield to those wash traders, so you need to open position for more than 1 hour. Yes, so that's a thing, and you get hyena points, 24 epochs, 6 months total. And like I said before, hyena points will be converted to Athena exchange points when program ends. And Athena exchange points are separate and additive to Athena's ongoing Season 5 points program. And I'm telling you guys, there's no Hyena token. Base app will have our own token, and Athena also has her own token, Anna. So Anna, yeah. And Base Gold, yes. Base is currently running a point system, and point program, and I think most of my followers, you guys know about this. And yeah, we will treat trading activity on Hyena on par with trading activity on Base. So it will be traded like same, but on Hyena, way lower fee. Yes, so way lower fee. So if you are active trader, consider trading on Hyena because we're like temporarily allowing USDC margins to be also traded on Hyena. So there's no much hassles left for you. So don't worry about that. And you'll get same reward from base while also getting Hyena points. And most importantly, APR. 20% APY on your long margin. So yes.
Yo, I just want to say, Juhyuk, that's a nice mansion you have there.
Yeah, I just moved to Miami recently, so I'm doing pretty well. I just met Nick, NFT Nick, and I
choose
asked
rich Nick.
to borrow his girlfriend, but since he borrowed her for $200 per hour, I couldn't afford it, so I
In this
wasted all my
economy.
money to buy a beachfront house, just a square foot house that I could barely sleep on, and yeah, I am
It actually
actually
looks real when you stand still. It actually looks kind of
yeah.
real. That's why I was like, hey, wait. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Chop. I don't know why, but I like the chops. Like when the market is chopping. I don't know why, but I'm just weird. I just enjoy this time. So, um that's how I was able to afford this cool background. She says no.
Okay. Guys, can you guys say something good about Hyena? Maybe like, Hyena, you can do it, whatever, and then ends our stream.
What the fuck?
Okay, hyena, I love you. I will use you. I need a code. Give me access. I will trade and lose all my money. And hyena whiting.
uh, you know what? I like that you named it HY instead of hyena. Hyena instead of hyena. I like the naming. Yeah. 12% APY is pretty cool as well. Yay.
Bro, what? You know what? Oh, I should not say this. Do you remember how Blast had all the attention? Do you remember how they got all the attention? Was it
Hyena,
true?
you can do it. All okay. I'm not saying that's not my endorsement, but yeah, no, it looks cool. It looks cool. Hyena fighting.
Hyena fighting. Hyena. Okay. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys. This was Shubit, Chuhya, and Pluto the Canadian. I will see you guys next week. We will also cover fun topics on polymarket, possibly next week too. And hope you guys give it a shot to Hyena and have a great day or night. Bye.